I'm joined by Zushan from Danketsu, formerly known as ADAOZ Ninjas, and we're going to get a bit of an update around the project, what's actually happening at the moment, especially around the toy deal and the release of these. You didn't call them plushies, you called them some brand new technical name. What was it?
Yeah, we're going with Phygitals.
Phygitals. We're going to find out what Phygitals are and a brand new and really creative way of onboarding more users to the Cardano ecosystem. But Zushan, welcome back to the podcast.
Yeah, good to be here, mate. Look, thank you for hosting the working group. It's been quite an exciting day. My first one.
Yep.
So pretty nice, and it's good to see all the Aussies come together. Meeting people who I've known for a long time, and I didn't even know that they're in Australia, let alone showing up to these things. So they're great.
Yeah.
So keep doing what you're doing, mate. Yeah, good to be here.
That I have to say, that was one of the really cool things. You guys just turning around and go, "Oh, you're that person!" Oh my god. Having those realization moments have been absolutely brilliant, and meeting face to face is by far the best way to collaborate and build up this Cardano ecosystem. Now, let's get an update of what's been happening. Now, I know from what you've told me all these really cool things that you guys have been doing, but let's get it for the community.
Yeah, for sure, mate. Look, it's obviously been a very long ride, right? You're talking September 2021 was when we kicked off what was ADAOZ Ninjas at the time. And since then, what is it? We're approaching 3 years. So that's 3 decades in the NFT space, in the crypto space. Yeah. So and one of the things that you have to be able to do within this space is adapt and pivot. We've been very fortunate from the get-go that our fundamental basis at Danketsu has always been layout and IP focused foundation. So create content around intellectual property that can be utilized outside of the quote unquote Web3 bubble. And that's what we essentially did from the very beginning. Created comics, music, books, art, animations, and now we're seeing the evolution of NFTs from just PFPs or art collectibles to these items that can be linked and used with items in the real world. So, that can obviously be real world assets, tokenization around that, or as we've seen with, our good friends over at on the Ethereum side of things, Pudgy Penguins, 1 million toy sales.
That's insane.
In 9 months. Wow. Yeah. And all of these toys come with QR codes that onboard you onto their blockchain. They've had about a 30 to 35% retention. So that's still a massive number of people who've created their first time wallet, who've interacted with the blockchain, so on and so forth. So us at Danketsu been super fortunate in a unique way when we sort of became one of the earliest projects on Cardano to expand to another blockchain. A lot of doors opened up for us in terms of business development, networking, relationships. And one of the things that just so happened was we got to showcase a lot of this IP to the relevant people, and we signed this massive Phygitals contract with North America's largest licensor for apparel and toys. And that's been huge. We've been working on it since November, kind of announced it in March. Now that includes a few different things, so I'll touch on them fairly quickly. And then, if you have any further questions on that front, go for it. But the first thing we've done this year is announce that all IP and commercial rights of our NFTs are now in the hands of the holders. So if you hold Danketsu NFTs, a few of them, up until you hold those NFTs, you can use them in any shape or form for commercial purposes. So if you go, I'm not... maybe I'm subtly telling you to do this, but maybe if you want a Danketsu in each of your videos, just visible over there that you own, you can use that as a commercial, for a commercial purpose. You want to open, I don't know, a hair salon, and you have a Dank that has a really good hairstyle. You put that as your logo. You make money off it. We don't take anything from you. So that was the first step. Now the second step was obviously announcing this toy deal. So we're essentially going down this path where we're on the same boat so our licensing partners have Star Wars, Disney, Marvel, NASA, Rick and Morty, Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, Amazon, Walmart, Target, Toys R Us, the list goes on. All of these retailers, all of these big brands, all their products that you were finding in store in North America are being delivered by these guys. So we get to put Danketsu up there as well with them as they sort of venture into Web3. So that's the second part of it. But then we thought, how do you integrate that physicals thing with the existing community that you have and reward them? If you were to go, well, you hold an NFT, so you get royalties, that becomes a very tricky legal area. So what you can do is, since you own the IP to your NFT, you can submit it to become a Phygital product. And if we select it, you then get a percentage of the royalties from the sale of that product. Yeah.
That's cool. So if I find a dank that is really cool, really appealing to be turned into a Phygital, it has a good chance to then be sold through the networks, and I get royalties out of that. So that's really cool. That's absolutely brilliant. Are you going to put any like governance or DAO mechanism around that, or who's going to be in control of saying that's the one that we want?
Yeah, look, so it's a multi-pronged approach at the moment. We're still looking through the avenues because you've got multiple parties here. It's not just us. It's not just the community. It's also our partners with the licenses, and then the retailers who want to see the product coming in. So,
that's tough.
Yeah, so it's tricky if you introduce a DAO, but the way we're sort of building this out is you own the IP. If you can show us that you're able to sell it already, then it's a no-brainer that it will become a Phygital. So what that means is we have a community member that's used their NFTs to create their own comics. There's another one releasing their own manga. There's one guy who spent $20,000 building educational animated shorts using his NFTs. If they are to then go, well, or even simpler, a content creator with 20,000 followers getting 15 to 20,000 impressions on X on each post, there's a brand to that Danketsu. If they come to us and we're going to be setting up an IP licensing platform for this online, you connect your wallet, you spend some of our token to vote on it. The community can come in potentially sort of what you were talking about and boost a dank that they believe might be sort of in the category that makes the cut. But then the final decision is almost like a discussion between us, the retailer, so on and so forth. Because if the community has potentially used that dank character in some sort of IP creation that doesn't align with a child-friendly brand, a retailer is not going to want that to become a toy. But circling back, essentially these toys are then, these NFTs are then submitted. The first phase and step of this is the plushies, which come with a QR code. So we're working with NMaker on this. They have a new wallet feature, which is the sole focus is onboarding. And what it is you get this QR code, you scan it, you get onto an NMaker wallet. It says, get your digital collectible. You click it. You log in with your Gmail, and you have the NFT in your wallet. You don't need to know it's a wallet. Then we will open it up to further digital experiences interacting with the blockchain. I won't say too much on that yet, but that then onboards not 1, 2, or 3, but hundreds and potentially thousands of people because their children buy the plushie. And the parents then go, well, look, let me go check out what the card is. And I did that with the Pudgy Penguins that I bought for my son. I went in, I looked at the QR code, I scanned it, I got the item, I experienced their blockchain digital experience. So that's part of the process. But we're adding another layer to it where it also gives you a full-scale education piece around what is Cardano, who are the people you should be following and watching on YouTube, like Pete, basically. So we add that layer in as well, along with, why you should be, what are the benefits of Cardano if you're looking to launch a business, why is this the way, what can you do with blockchain? So we provide that whole piece of education alongside this, which, in my opinion, is one of the easiest and simplest forms of wider and mass levels of adoption. So that's the first phase. Now, you touched on Phygitals earlier. The reason we refer to it as Phygitals and not Plushies is because the conversation doesn't stop at Plushies. We have comics. And in one comic, 30, 40, 50 NFTs will potentially have already featured. So if you hold those NFTs, you can get a share of the comic book royalties when they get into comic book and bookstores. It's the same with books. It's the same with vinyl characters. It's the same with, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but very early conversations around an animated series. So it's kind of bridging that gap and bringing that Web 2.5 element in. So you start with the plushies, start at the simplest, most easily accessible level, see that audience kind of grow up with this, get them involved, get them to buy further products, but at the same time, engage and interact with the blockchain.
Man, there's a lot there. There's a lot there. I remember when you first told me about the Pudgy Penguins plushies, I went out and bought 4 of them. So, and for myself and not for my child. So, I've got that little collection happening. So I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys deliver your first 2. I want a Bobo as soon as it comes out. So whenever it does, I'll get my hands on it as soon as possible. So I'm really looking forward to seeing those in real life. Now, I also know that you guys got some partnerships coming up.
Yeah, so we've announced a partnership with the International Rescue Committee, which is one of the largest non-for-profits in the world. Interesting thing, it was actually founded by Albert Einstein. So he kind of made a call that we need an NGO to rescue people in the 1930s, and that's kind of where it fundamentally sort of manifested from and was created. So the IRC also happens to be one of the only not-for-profits in the world that has a crypto philanthropy wing.
Wow. Okay.
And
that's cool.
And I think they have an irc.eth ENS domain where they accept a lot of crypto through.
Yep.
But they were looking to also expand into obviously accepting donations through Cardano. But their networks are insane from a marketing perspective for Cardano as a whole, for our business. Nike, Adidas, Amazon, Walmart, you name the brand, and they probably have some sort of corporate, social, or sustainability blockchain for good endeavor with the IRC. So, yeah. So we're working with them in this capacity. One, when you buy a toy online, we had community members go, well, we want to buy 50 toys, but what are we going to do with 45 of them? That's where this idea kind of came to mind, because doing something on the blockchain for good part was important to us. So we said, well, how about we set up a mechanism where you buy 10 or you buy 50 and you want to donate 80% of them, you can donate them to the IRC, and they will actually then get them over to recently relocated refugee families in the US. So these will go to kids who've just found new homes in North America. And it's not like you're giving toys to people who are struggling. It's for people who are starting a new life and something that they can relate to and connect with, and something exciting for them. that's one part of it. The other part of it is they will take a percentage. So a percentage of the royalties that we earn from the toys, be it online or be it through retail, the IRC will get a percentage cut that will be also donated to empowering these families, these refugee families in the US.
Wow, okay. That's going to make a big difference to a lot of people's lives. So that's pretty exciting aspect of the project too. Cool. What else is happening with Danketsu and this all these partnerships and toy stuff?
Yeah, so we're about 4 or 5 weeks out from the toy, from the Plushie sale, the online sale. We've got a couple of exciting announcements in relation to that go live in the next few weeks as well. We have put through one Catalyst proposal with the International Rescue Committee, which is, expanding on some of the blockchain for good elements. I think in the Cardano open ecosystem section. And we are putting another proposal through on the real world partnerships side of things as well, which will, really detail out and enable us to expand how to use these toys to market Cardano in mass retail and to people who have never used or touched blockchain before through something as easily accessible as a toy in Walmart or a toy in Target or here in Australia like a toy in Big W. And, we see that as being a very key point of initial contact that's simplistic enough to bring people into blockchain, into crypto, into Cardano, and then also giving them the opportunity to get educated on what's going on. So we've got a couple of proposals coming through. One's up, one will be up shortly. And yeah, we're just excited. We're really, really close to finalizing the packaging design of the plushies now.
Pretty exciting times for sure.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I never knew how much work goes into this, right? I understand entertainment and media, but then taking it into the physical side of things, it's a whole other ballgame. And the detail, you work on the 3D modeling, you then work on the prototype sample toys. They then go back for the next iteration and then the next iteration until you're perfectly happy with, what it looks like. Then you work on the packaging, then you work on the integration through the QR codes, then it's the shipping, the logistics, the warehousing, all that jazz, right?
Yeah, okay. It's kind of a nightmare, isn't it?
It is, but I think it's worth it. And I, we've seen with the only other example in blockchain of such a scenario that it works, it results in volume. So Pudgy Penguins alone on Ethereum in 6 months following the announcement of Walmart did about $600 million in NFT volume alone.
Wow.
Yeah.
In the first month?
No, first 6 months.
First 6 months. Okay,
first 6 months. But that's, looking at the last 6 months of Cardano NFTs, I think that's 6 or 7 times the amount of the whole chain.
Yeah. It's huge.
It's massive. And on top of that, it helps combat that negative connotation or association that not just NFTs, but crypto is perceived by people from outside. Because it's like, wait, so people built these NFTs and now they're making these amazing toys and this IP, and it's approachable and palatable by everybody. So I think it's worth it and very, very exciting. And, we're really, really looking forward to kind of getting these out.
All right. I'm looking forward to it too. You've been talking about this for a while, so finally get my hands on one of those plushies. Is it going to come to Australia as well, like in the first wave, in the first distribution?
Yeah, so the online sale will be, you'll be able to ship to most countries in the world. But then going into retail, the first wave will be North America only. Well, it's okay. You could still always buy it online.
Yeah.
But then obviously, depending on the success there, it'll start opening up. And we're hoping Big W. We're not stopping without it.
Well, merchandise is a huge part of any type of brand. Look at Disney, a lot of their money is made on the merchandise side of things. So I am excited to see what type of impact it has on your project and all these royalties and all these different aspects. There's a lot of opportunities here for people. The Catalyst proposal sounds quite interesting as well. So I'll put all the links to those in the show notes. So if anyone wants to dig digger and support you guys, please give them a vote. Make sure you register your wallets now, because there's a lot of voting coming up very, very soon too. But Zushan, anything else you want to add to this interview?
Yeah, look, I mean, come out and support us. Buy a Phygital plushie. And look, I mean, you buy a toy, it potentially helps or, gives comfort to a refugee family newly relocated in the US. At the same time, it helps build exposure for Cardano. It helps people get onboarded onto the blockchain. And, if you don't want the toy for yourself, you can donate it or give it to niece, nephew, child, or anyone else who likes it. So just come on out and support us. It's going to be fun. And yeah, look, I mean, always a pleasure chatting to you, mate.
Awesome, Zushan. Good to see you again in person too.
Yeah, thanks.
Hang on. This is the first time in Australia that I've met you.
Yeah. We met in Vegas like almost 2 years ago, and now we're meeting in Australia.
It's taken too long. Right. Awesome, Zushan. Thank you.
Thanks.